From the main menu screen, we're now going to access the Expenses icon. The Expenses has a list view and a report. What we're going to do is cover the expenses and the report. What is an expense in this particular case is anything that is an overhead item that you cannot charge to a customer. What that means is any bill, payment, or any kind of an expense that's acquired on a monthly basis is entered into this system. What this will do is provide you with tracking of overhead expenses. When you think about overhead expenses, a lot of people don't consider them being important until you run into problems with cash flow. And the cash flow, this screen can be used as a diagnostic to see if you're spending too much or you're spending money on things that should not be used as far as expenditures. Now, in a larger company where there are many employees logging in costs and buying items, it becomes critical. On a small company, believe it or not, it's even more critical because you can't understand where you're spending money unless you document it. And when you run short on cash flow and you don't have capital the way you expect it to be and you're trying to find out where it was spent, this is where you should come. Look at your expenditures. You know what your capital income is from invoicing different customers, but you need to understand your expenses as well. On this screen, they have all the standard buttons for finding and locating and showing all items, or showing and hiding the menu at the top of the screen. Remember now, if you do a find, you cannot do it in a portal. You could only use the actual inside records, but you could easily search by month or use the list view, which is expense listing view, which would show you the individual lists of items. In this case, there's only 1 month current in here that's a sample. And of course, it would list all the months for all the expenses that would be in there over a period of time. This is another thing you can use to identify things for your CPA, where you're spending money, and you can run the report. Now, in this case, there's not going to be much data because we don't have sample records more than one. But as you look in there, you'll see that it brings up a report by month, and then it would list all the expenses and then summarize them in the report. So if you sent this in for a specific month or a quarter or semi-annual or annual, you could run the find mode and then pick the date range using this field here and put in a date range using the greater than, less than, date, then less than or equal, and a date to go ahead and put in there. Now, if you have questions about that, look on the support site for the video that talks about doing finds and reports, and it'll explain what I'm talking about. To go back to the actual record, what we would do is in the record itself, the field that is in here first, you do not enter anything. As you can see, it's locked. What you would do is start out by putting the date of the expense type, which could be very varied, so there's no drop down for this. This would be something you just type in what it is and actually who it went to as far as the check or the cash that you're paying, the amount that was used, and then whether or not it's taxable or not. This is important to your CPA so that he doesn't misidentify or misuse the items that you're using as a cost item as far as an expense. In addition to the information that's here, if you needed to go to a portal record that shows the individual record and you want to delete the record, you would click on this arrow and you can delete it from the screen. Do not try to delete records in a portal. You can see the delete button up here is used. Portal records are not deleted in the actual screen that you're working in. In addition to the information that we had in here for expenses, there's also an invoice portal. What this allows you to do is it allows you to click on it and insert a picture. You can have a scanned image or an image that you shot with a camera on your iPad or iPhone, and then you can go ahead and paste it into this screen. Either put it into the library, or if it's on the hard drive of your computer, you can add it directly from a saved photo of it right to this screen. And this is also a scrolling portal, so you can have a number of invoices for the month that are reflect what the actual expenditure was with a graphic in here of the actual invoice. And a nice little feature is if you actually have something here and you click on the button down here, it will present the large view so you can see the entire invoice in a larger scale on this screen. If you wanted to print it from the screen, you could print it from the screen, or you could make a PDF of it from the iPad using FMGO. It's your choice. But this would offer you a way to provide a photographed image, and you can even use a screen capture in this screen again to capture the large view of it if you needed to. The name of the picture is put in here so you understand what it is that you're looking at on this screen, and each one of them has a numeral number on it as far as what month it went to from the pick ID. Clicking this button will take you back. Now recall, I mentioned that if you're on the server, on the browser, you need to submit any changes you make before you leave the screen that you're currently looking at. So if you typed in a new entry in here, you need to submit that before you leave the browser on that screen. And that's true of any screen you're leaving if you've edited or added anything to that screen. If you have any questions as usual, just give an email to me or give me a call on my phone number that's on my contact on the support site. Thank you for taking this video.